Have you ever felt like you were being watched in the woods? A feeling that sends a shiver down your spine, the sense of ancient eyes peering from the shadows. For most of us, it's just our imagination running wild. But for a few, it's the start of an encounter that changes everything. Today, we're diving into a story that does just that. A story so profound it might just redefine what we think we know about the line between human and beast. This isn't your typical Bigfoot sighting. This is the story of the day Bigfoot cried. Our story begins with a man named Ben Carter, a seasoned wildlife photographer who had spent decades capturing the quiet beauty of the Pacific Northwest. Ben wasn't a Bigfoot hunter. He was a skeptic, a man of science and observable facts. He believed the legends were just that, legends, campfire stories born from misidentified bears and the deep, eerie silence of the ancient forests. His mission was simple: to photograph a rare species of owl known to inhabit a remote, almost inaccessible valley deep in the Cascade Mountains. For 3 days, Ben hiked, navigating dense undergrowth and treacherous terrain. He set up his camp near a crystal-clear stream, the air thick with the scent of pine and damp earth. On the 4th day, something felt different. The usual chorus of birdsong was gone, replaced by an unsettling quiet. The hairs on the back of his neck stood up. He scanned the tree line, his camera ready, but saw nothing. He shook his head, blaming the solitude for playing tricks on his mind. That evening, as twilight painted the sky in shades of purple and orange, a sound echoed through the valley. It wasn't the howl of a wolf or the growl of a bear. It was a low, mournful sound, a guttural cry filled with a pain that felt familiar. It was a sound of grief. Ben's heart pounded in his chest. Curiosity battled with fear. Grabbing his camera and a powerful flashlight, he decided to investigate, moving slowly and cautiously toward the source of the haunting sound. He followed the cries for nearly half a mile until he came to a small clearing. And what he saw made his breath catch in his throat. There, slumped against a massive fallen cedar, was a creature straight out of folklore. It was huge, covered in dark, matted hair, its broad shoulders shaking with silent sobs. It was a Sasquatch, but this wasn't the monster of legend. This was a being in agony. Ben crouched behind a thicket of ferns, his mind reeling. He instinctively raised his camera, the photographer in him taking over, but then he stopped. He saw the creature's face, its features surprisingly human-like, twisted in sorrow. And in its massive arms, it cradled a much smaller, motionless form, another Sasquatch, a juvenile. It was clear the little one was gone. The giant creature gently rocked the small body, letting out another heart-wrenching cry that vibrated through the very ground Ben was hiding on. In that moment, Ben forgot all about the photograph of a lifetime. He wasn't looking at a monster or a cryptid. He was witnessing a parent mourning its child. The grief was so raw, so powerful, it transcended species. It was a universal language of loss that Ben understood all too well, having lost his own father just a year prior. He slowly lowered his camera, his own eyes welling up with tears. He felt like an intruder, a voyeur, to a moment of profound and private pain. The creature's large, dark eyes, glistening with tears, suddenly flickered in his direction. It had sensed him. Ben froze, expecting a roar, a charge, an act of aggression to protect its young. But none came. The Sasquatch simply looked at him, and in its eyes, Ben saw not rage, but a shared understanding. An acknowledgement of a fellow being who understood its suffering. It was a look that said, "You see my pain." For what felt like an eternity, they just looked at each other across the clearing. The grieving father and the human witness. No words were exchanged, but everything was communicated. Ben felt a wave of empathy so strong it nearly buckled his knees. This creature, this monster, was capable of love, of grief, of a depth of emotion he had previously reserved only for humans. The line he had always drawn between us and them completely dissolved. Slowly, carefully, Ben began to back away, not wanting to disturb the solemn vigil any longer. He didn't run. He retreated with respect. The Sasquatch watched him go, then turned its attention back to its child, its shoulders resuming their sorrowful shake. Ben hiked back to his camp in a daze, the world around him feeling fundamentally different. The photograph he had come for no longer mattered. He had captured something far more important, not on film, but in his heart. He packed up his camp the next morning and left the valley, carrying a secret that would change his life. He never shared the location. He never published a single photo, though he had managed to take a few blurred, respectful shots from a distance before the full weight of the scene hit him. To him, to do so would be a betrayal of that sacred, silent trust that had passed between them. It would be exploiting a father's worst moment for fame and fortune. Ben Carter's story, which he only shared with a few trusted friends late in his life, isn't about proving Bigfoot exists. It's about what we do when we are faced with the unknown. Do we react with fear and aggression, or with empathy and compassion? The creature in the woods showed him a profound humanity that day, a depth of feeling that forced him to reconsider what it truly means to be human. It taught him that the capacity for love and the pain of loss are not exclusively ours. They are the threads that connect all living beings in a complex, beautiful, and sometimes heartbreaking tapestry. This story challenges us to look beyond the surface, beyond the legends and the scary stories. It asks us to open our hearts to the possibility that we are not as alone or as different as we think. The day Bigfoot cried was the day a man's perception of the world was shattered and rebuilt into something more compassionate, more connected, and infinitely more profound. What do you think, could a creature like Bigfoot be capable of such deep emotion? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. This story really makes you wonder about the mysteries still hidden in the wild corners of our world. Thanks so much for watching and joining us on this incredible journey. If you enjoyed this story, please hit that like button and subscribe for more content that explores the unexplained. We'll see you in the next video.